Yes, sir. And welcome back to another episode of Real Spit with Spitty. I'm your host, Spitty Will, and let's get right to it. This episode is sponsored by the good people over at Tulanets, Tulan dollar sign S. Tulanets. You already know what it is. One of the dopest black southern streetwear clothing lines in the world. Shout out to them boys. But let's get into the next topic. So I've been having this conversation a lot lately about, is it beneficial for up and coming artists to pay to open up for big name artists or even to go on tour? I've always stood on the side that I think that is definitely beneficial to get out there on the road, open up for artists that have a bigger fan base than you, and utilize that to expand your fan base. There's a couple types of shows, few types of scenarios, and one that I'll tell you to potentially stay away from is janky promoters, these guys that's putting together these artist showcases where they claim that, you know, these representatives from these different record labels and people that's going to be signing people and, you know, all of that's going to be at. You just got to watch out because not all of them are bad, but I feel like a lot of times those types of events is mainly just artists there and their entourage, they peoples, they supporters, basically rapping for other artists and they supporters. And it's not really what you want to, you know, get out of it. Now, some of these showcases are cool and you got to, you know, sift through the bullshit to make sure that you find the right ones that you should tap into. But for the most part, paying independent person who don't really have emotion or doesn't really have people that like come to these shows, and basically you go to a show and all it is all 20 artists, they, you know, supporters with them, you know, supporting them. Like that's just not the way. I do feel like it's beneficial for artists, pay to open up for artists when they come into your city. I also feel like it's beneficial for artists to pay to get on tour and get out there on the road. Now, a lot of artists, a lot of people who may go against that aren't doing it right. There's a couple things that you got to do when you get out there on the road. Number one, you can't just go on the road with another artist and just sit backstage smoking blunts and drinking and all of that and not going out and interacting with the crowd, interacting with the people. That's one of the things that you definitely can't do. Number two, you can't go out on the road having expectations that just going on the road is automatically going to get you that fan base, like that just going out there to perform before this big name artist perform is going to do it. That's not the case. What you got to do, you got to for real become a politician when you hit these cities. Meaning that you got to, if you go on tour with an artist or if you've had the opportunity to do spot dates and open up in different cities with an artist, what you got to do when you hit that city, you got to find out what mall is popping, where people going and shopping at, where are the people at? And you need to frequent these spots. You need to hit these spots up. You need to tap in. You need to be interacting with people, with real people. Your people skills got to be up. Like you got to be able to build with folks and get them a reason to want to be a fan. You got to find out like where are the places, you know, where people shopping at, where are the places where, you know, like the cool, like art kids is at and all of that. And you need to go tap in and network. One of the biggest aspects of hitting these different cities and having these opportunities to be able to open up for artists is the networking aspect of it. That's with other creatives that's in the city, other artists like people that draw and paint and all of that, and people that's just tapped into the culture. You should also find out, you know, even though it's not a lot of mom and pop stores anymore, you should find out like where's the local like music stores, you know, record stores, or you know what I mean, where's the local like boutiques and, you know, different stores that like people go and shop. And you need to go in these spots and, you know, connect the dots. Oh, that wrong. I guess that's why I'm speaking. Nah, you need to definitely make sure that you just tapping in with the people, because just opening up for artists it is just not enough. You know, it's so beneficial to whether it's in your city or if you in another city, it's so beneficial to be able to open up for another artist because they're going to be bringing fans in that you need to tap in with. I would also say after you perform, go out into the crowd, start interacting with people, chopping it up with folks. you should also, when you opening up for an artist, have your own merch, have your own stickers, keychains, like all types of trinkets, like all of that, because we're in the day of, collectors. Like people want to have like cool stuff that they collect and can keep forever. You know what I mean? Keep on a shelf for, always, have this object that they can like look back on and have that memory. And if you leave a lasting impression on stage, then it's gonna make sense for you to go out and tap in with them and make sure that, they getting your merch, all of that. Sometimes you might have to give away merch. But if you got game, if your mouthpiece is good, then you can go out after you perform and actually sell your merch. And if it's something dope and a quality, then people gonna want to, tap in. People gonna want to buy it. And they gonna want to support you. But you have to give yourself that opportunity to even allow people to support you. You gotta, have your sales game up. You gotta have your mouthpiece on. You gotta, be able to get out there. And like I said, you gotta become a politician in these cities. There's a lot of conversations about it not being beneficial and that being, like one of the dumbest moves that artists can make. But I think also, the importance of you actually performing and putting in those reps, it's like a hooper go to different cities and hit these different parks and, like find out like where the open runs is at and where some of the best players in the city. Like you want to go and tap in so that you can like get your reps up and stay on point. You know what I mean? And like, it's like having to hit that layup line. Like no matter what, you need to hit that layup line so that you can get your reps up and so that, you always sharpening your skills. Even when it comes to, artists, you want to, be able to do that. But in the way of performance and mastering your performance and mastering your crowd control and all of that. I mean, there's so many artists popped off from, opening up for different artists. I mean, back in the day, I remember when I worked at Warner Brothers and was working with Wiz Khalifa early on when he had the Say Yes single. He built a relationship with Snoop back then and was opening up for him on shows. And, that turned into them having, the great relationship that they have now. And we've seen them cats do films and, actually go on tour together and all of that. But that happened from them connecting, building a relationship and like really rocking out with each other. So super important. Several artists from, I know Party Next Door. He was an artist that I saw personally on tour, with Drake. I've seen him go on several tours after that, but from that actually helped him build his fan base to where he built like even his own cult following within tapping into, Drake's fan base, but then also, like building his own fan base himself. And let's keep it real. Like I know, we all picking sides like with this Drake and, Kendrick beef or whatever, but I mean, can we not admit that Drake has been a person who has spotted out, artists like on their rise, has put a lot of artists, on his tours and have helped them to expand their careers. J. Cole opened up for Drake. I know A$AP Rocky did, the Migos, of course, Future. Of course, 21 Savage, you know what I mean? Like so many different artists have opened up for Drake and have been able to expand, their fan bases as well. So, he's been like a great artist that has opened up that door, for plenty of artists to be able to expand their fan bases. Kendrick Lamar and J-Rock actually opened up for Tech Nine on tour and went out on the road with him and were able to expand their fan bases. And this was, Kendrick like before and right around like the whole Section 80 time and all of that. So it's definitely super beneficial for artists to go on tour, open up for other artists. So don't believe the hype. Don't believe what people telling y'all to not go and open up for artists. Now, here's something that's difficult when you do go and open up for a lot of these artists. You go to the venue, you're opening up. Now, there might not be as big of a crowd in the audience when you're opening up as when the headline artist is actually performing. But what you got to look at is building every fan, building, brick by brick with it. is so important. Like every new fan is important. So you can't look at it like, oh man, like the arena not full, so I'm not about to get the benefits of what I would get if the arena was full. You got to perform in front of who's there. You got to wow them. And then you got to make it to where when other people get into the arena, they telling them like, yo, you just missed out on a dope show because bruh just opened up and tore this shit down, like for real, and make these people anticipate when you actually doing your own shows or when you move around and eventually be able to do your own tour. So is it beneficial for up and coming artists to tour and open up shows for big name artists? Abso-fucking-lutely yes. You need to do it. It's a necessity. You got to build your fan base brick by brick. You build your base, but then you also utilize fans from other artists that are similar to you where you can, you know, get your numbers up, get your fans up and all that. Look at Tyler. She opened up for Chris Brown and she had that huge moment with that water song and danced and throwing the water on their back and all that. And look at where she's at, you know? So like it's so many benefits to opening up for these artists, but you and your team have to make it a point to get out there and put in the other work that's necessary to make it worthwhile. Because if you just go on the road and expect the people out there, the fans out there to just jump right into, you know, being one of your fans or tapping into your music, then you got it messed up. You got to go out there, you got to politic, you got to build, you got to, you know, do it brick by brick. And that's how you're going to build up your fan base, by going out there on the road with other artists. That's real spit. Yes, sir.